This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome back to another edition of the NHL 23 franchise mode here on the channel today. As you saw off the top, the title of the video, very alarming if you're an Oilers fan that regularly tunes into my channel, and that is what you saw on your Monday night. I apologize, but friends, this series, it's already starting to kind of predict what's going to happen. We did that episode there the other day on Saturday, early morning, where we said Jack Campbell got lit up. He did, and he did. So we'll see what we can do about a Warren Foegele trade here for the Edmonton Oilers in this franchise mode episode. Sorry, I've just been outside chasing the dogs, and it's very hot in the house. So clearly why I was outside chasing the dogs, and now all of a sudden I'm all hot and heated coming in here. But folks, if you're new to the channel, what I want you to do, take the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, whatever you stick around for in this video, consider hitting that subscribe button here on Dolynny TV. The NHL 23 Edmonton Oilers franchise mode is not normally what we're doing, but just as we're kind of getting into the start of the season, I thought it'd be something fun to try to go through, show you kind of some of my thoughts on the Oilers season, and kind of just have ourselves a go around with the Oilers in this franchise mode. So we'll see what happens. This is obviously episode 3. Episode 2, we finished off 11-9-3. Things look decent on this page, but I also have the 80s scoring model going here. So you know those Wayne Gretzky days when it used to be 8-5 all the time? Yeah, that's kind of what we got going on for points-wise here for most of these players. You see a lot of guys are out there producing a good amount of points for the Oilers right now in this season. Dylan Holloway, who's currently injured, he's listed as number 6, so I'll try and change that if I remember later in the episode. Tyler Benson, who we've had in since the start. Derek Ryan's even got 9 points. Philip Broberg, who's been in there for every game so far, has 9 points. And you like to see this, right? The Oilers developing quite well along. It was Devon Shore stepping in for Dylan Holloway, who has a point in, 5 games. He scored his first goal of the season in his first game. Ryan Murray, in his first bit of action, has 2 goals in 2 games. I believe because he's on the second power play, but that actually proves me to be a liar because he has no special teams points. He is, though, playing 24 minutes a night as our best left shot defenseman on this roster besides Darnell Nurse, who's currently injured. You go over to the goalies, and you saw Warren Foegele's stats there. I mentioned it at the end of the last video. There's some phenomenons happening here. 11-9-3, Jack Campbell. Well, yeah, Jack Campbell's had a pretty good season so far, considering it's the 80s scoring model and the way it started. 896 save percentage, 333 goals against average. He has 3 assists on the year. Jack Campbell, 3 assists. Who knew? And Stuart Skinner. We're going to give him a start right out of the gate here to start this episode. We'll give him 2 more starts again to give Jack Campbell a bit of a spell off. And you imagine he's going to have a little bit better of a go than a .142 save percentage, a 38.03 goals against average, and 7 shots against, 6 goals against in 9 minutes of hockey in 2 games this season, getting the old heave-ho twice over in back-to-back games to start this off. That said, friends, the number one thing we've got to do right here, right now, is obviously go out and get that Warren Foegele trade done. And this is so adequately put by how the NHL simulation model for EA Sports has decided to run this trade for me. You want to see this? This is perfect in terms of kind of setting realistic expectations. Pardon me, I know, NHL EA Sports setting realistic expectations for a Warren Foegele trade. Well, friends, here's what you got. You can get Nathan Beaulieu at .850. You can get a 7th round draft pick from the Nashville Predators. You can get a 7th round draft pick from the Winnipeg Jets and Pittsburgh Penguins. So quickly, I'm going to take a look at this Nashville Predators trade just because I want to see if indeed the Predators are having a bad season. They're 9-11-3. That is not going to cut it for me, and I will tell you simply why it's not going to cut it for me, because Warren Foegele could be a guy they use to get into the playoffs and obviously play us and then Warren Foegele could end up going out there and really giving us fits. So it's between them and Pittsburgh, and I think guaranteed, I think the old rule of thumb is when you're trying to dump a player, dump him to the other conference where he can't be a problem, because three other teams have to try and take that team down before you meet them in the Stanley Cup final. And that is, of course, where we will find ourselves here, going to the Pittsburgh Penguins and getting the Florida Panthers 7th round draft pick this season. Here's why we're trading Foegele. You want to know? You want to know. 2 points in 23 games played, a -6 in 9:26 of ice time. The guy's got to do something more than that. 83 offensive awareness, but he is just not doing anything of substance for us. So therefore, Warren Foegele has been traded. Mattias Janmark will have to be called up to the NHL. That is, of course, exactly what the Oilers will do as soon as you trade somebody, is call up Mattias Janmark. That's been all too well written throughout this preseason into the regular season. So Mattias Janmark gets called up to the NHL. There you go. He's back up. The Oilers have 18 skaters, but suddenly we have 1.208 in cap space. So now suddenly we can call up one more player, and it really becomes a question of who we want to call up at that point. You look at right wingers, you could call up Seth Griffith, Raphael Lavoie, but you're looking to call up a guy who's going to sit on the bench more than likely for you. Greg McKegg could be a guy that comes up. Well, right? Why not? Or Xavier Bourgault, but Brad Malone's out. I really think the only guy you can call up without hurting this Oilers lineup at current, or this AHL lineup at current, is James Hamblin, who I am excited to give his pro debut to. So that will be the kind of roster fix here, is we're going to be able to get two guys up in place of one guy on this NHL roster. And now with kind of the situation we find ourselves in, with everybody shuffling around here, we go to head coach preferred lines, and suddenly you've got Leon Draisaitl with Connor McDavid and Kyler Yamamoto for a +5 overall. Vander Kane, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jesse Puljujärvi. And you know what? I am comfortable going out here and running this just simply to see how it does. This will be a line that goes up there for obviously the first little bit against Mr. Stuart Skinner's back-to-back starts, and then we'll see what needs to be adjusted from there. So we'll move Bouchard up, CC down, who only has 3 points, but we're not expecting CC to score too many points. And of course, then you've got Philip Broberg there as well, who doesn't make an adjustment there. Even strength, we'll go to the power play and just quickly edit things. The power play looks absolutely deadly here with Yamamoto on there. And then power play line 2 is operating at a -1 because for some reason you have Devon Shore in front of the net. So we will quickly substitute him out for somebody a little bit more steady Eddie. I don't know, like Ryan McLeod, who should come in there and steadify that a little bit more and give us a little bit more to work with on the power play. So there we go. Down to the AHL, we'll just best lines that because I'm not too concerned about the AHL as it currently sits, simply because for the AHL team, it is just one of those things where this year doesn't matter until I can kind of get the guys I want in there, and that's obviously signing prospects, trading for picks, and getting things done and dusted the proper way. So you see how calling up Mr. Sorry, that's a lot of talking. Mr. James Hamblin really doesn't affect things for us. Reed Schaefer will be able to draw into his 12th game of the season coming up. Bourgault's got 15 points in 18 games. So there's a lot to this for the Condors too, where they're going to get to see what happens their season now that we've moved a couple guys up. Dylan Holloway, Darnell Nurse still to come up. So we've all of a sudden freed up that cap space to get up to a 23-man roster. The Condors 13-4-1 on the season. Mattias Janmark was a big part of that so far. And now all of a sudden we'll get into getting Stuart Skinner in net. Almost forgot about that. See, I would have simmed and had Jack Campbell get lit up for another night, but we'll go get Skinner in net, and Stewie Can see what he can do in his third start of the season. Hopefully not get lit up near as bad as he did. And we'll see if we can't go out there and win ourselves a hockey game. And I know it's desperate times when you're putting those two guys together, but when you have the lineup depth that the Oilers do, you can kind of start figuring it out, and that's kind of exactly what we're going to do here is allow these guys to play together and figure it out. So Janmark is on the left side. I don't know why Janmark should be over there, and that should pretty much do exactly what we needed to do here. Tyler Benson suiting up on the fourth line, has 9 points in that many games. Suddenly our top 6 looks pretty elite, and we can see what we can do here to try and win ourselves. I don't think I put Stewie in net. On the fly, right? You would think I'd edit this stuff out, but I really don't. I really don't care at this point. It's NHL 23. Yeah, I did put Skinner there. What am I doing? SS Skinner, getting it going. Stuart Skinner, the ship that we're going to ride to victory tonight. And let's see what we got going here. All right, who are we going up against? The Minnesota Wild, is it? Yeah, it's at Minnesota on the 1st. Of course, I'm going to try and sneak up to Edmonton for that game on December 9th against the Minnesota Wild. I think that'd be a sneaky good time, knowing that I have 2 good buddies in South Dakota who enjoy the Minnesota Wild and their hockey they play. Here we go. We got first period of action underway in this simulation. So far, Skinner's made 4 saves, 5 saves, 6 saves. Just count them up, 7 saves. More shots than he's faced all season, and suddenly he's made a ton of saves. 8 saves, and this is what you like to see. Stuart Skinner, 9 saves in the first period of hockey. A good way to rebound after getting yanked back-to-back games, and suddenly development. Power play goes for naught until Matt Zuccarello scores on another shot there for the Minnesota Wild. Oilers can't capitalize on a power play, and we're going to lean back and get into the rocking chair for this one. And it's Matthew Boldy who scores the second goal of the game. Devin Shore answers back. I guess we should have that guy on the power play, but Duhaime answers for the Wild, and the Oilers are down 3-1 after the second period of play. Almost shouldn't have started Skinner here. Should have let Jack Campbell go in this one. I think Skinner won't earn the second start. Leon Draisaitl, though, on Marc-Andre Fleury, making it interesting. Shots are evened up. And for the Oilers now, we got to try and get this one tilted back to 3-3, or we're going to be in danger of losing this one in the dying minutes again. 3 minutes to go. Empty net more than likely here. Eriksson Ek on Stuart Skinner puts this game out of reach with a Marcus Foligno empty net goal. And that one sucks there. The Oilers lose 5-2. Connor McDavid an assist, CC an assist, Draisaitl a goal, Shore a goal, and Tyler Benson in 10 minutes and 50 seconds of time on ice gets himself a big old goal there. But my goodness, what was this second line doing tonight? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins a -3, Vander Kane a -3, Ryan Murray a -3. That was a rough, well-exposed line there in this one. Oof, that's tough. All right, so Xavier Ouellet on waivers. Well, what are we going to see out of him? He is a 74 overall, top 4 D-man exact. I do not believe we will be claiming him. No, thank you. We will decline him. We will simply go back and get Jack Campbell in net because Stuart Skinner didn't get lit up near as bad as Jack Campbell, but we still end up falling pretty bad to the Chicago Blackhawks. Of course, Leon Draisaitl continues to lead the team in points, but all in all, the early returns on the Mr. Warren Foegele trade, not so good. Matthias Janmark, 954. Didn't exactly get it going with a -1. So Jack Campbell steps back into net for the Oilers, and now watch the winning streak get going as Skinner starts a game off the top and doesn't get anywhere. So we'll see now if we can get Stewie to get going here in this next set of starts down a ways. We're going to try and win ourselves some hockey games here. We'll go that stretch of 5 games there. Face the Minnesota Wild back-to-back. Wow, the Oilers face in this season the Minnesota Wild all together in the span of a bunch of games put together. So we'll edit the lines manually, seeing that we got a couple guys ready to return now, and that should really complicate matters here. Quick head coach preferred lines. That will get nobody up front by the looks of it. And defensively, that will get Darnell Nurse back in the lineup. Ryan Murray, who had 2 goals in 3 games, we will keep him out. Or do we scratch Brett Kulak? I don't know, tough call, because I want Mr. Philip Broberg playing. And maybe instead you leave Broberg. You know what, we're going to scratch, and Broberg's been effective. We're going to keep him in here. Keep him in and see what we can't do. That's not going to do anything. That's not going to do anything. That's going to allow us to do that. And what about Tyson Barrie and Evan Bouchard swapping? Nope. Okay. All right. Game on. And can we get Mr. Dylan Holloway back into the lineup in place of Devon Shore? Is that what it's telling me? Is that what it said? It did say that. Cool. Devon Shore out. Dylan Holloway back in. And we're going to get Dylan Holloway in here in place of Matthias Janmark. Derek Ryan to the second or fourth line. And Ryan McLeod back up there on the top 9 role. I think the big thing too is here we're going to demote Puljujärvi down to the third line and just try and get Zach Hyman back up into the top 6 to see if that doesn't generate something there. All right, fine and dandy. Let's see what this simulation is going to do for us. The Montreal Canadiens, big game here, 4-3 loss. Okay, it's a respectable loss. It's a respectable loss. We'll go to the draft class. After this, Dylan Holloway is fully healed. We'll continue because he was in the lineup. Greg McKaig is ready to go, so we'll get best lines there. Let's see what Washington does. 3-1 win. There we go, back over 500. And that's exactly why you simply keep Brett Kulak out of the lineup, because it's not too long until you need him again, as Philip Broberg should draw back in here for this Minnesota game. And this Minnesota game, big important one there, 11-14. We win 6-4. Slater Cuckoo's been injured down there in Bakersfield. We'll best lines that. And Klim Kostin is back as well, so we'll best line that there. And now all of a sudden we have a chance to get Philip Broberg back in the lineup. Good to see. And we are almost done this simulation. See, this is the stuff that takes time. Unfortunately, with this NHL 23 on the PS4. Brett Kulak, did he pick up anything? No, he didn't pick up any more points. We're going to get Philip Broberg back in there on this lineup. There we go. There he is. And Ryan Murray, 3 goals, 7 games played. He has been effective for the Oilers so far. Cody Ceci now up to 5 points. And Tyson Barrie, 9 assists in 28 games. Man, the defensive scoring very, very low on the Oilers so far. Trade coming in, Beaulieu for Janmark. Nice little cap dump, but realistically not a trade I want to make, because we're just swapping 3rd round picks and just adding a guy that really doesn't add much to our NHL lineup. Zach Hyman has been injured, so that really sucks, because we're going to have to get Dylan Holloway back into the top 6. Or do we get Puljujärvi back up there? I think that's what you do. Is Puljujärvi goes back up there, unless who has more points? 19 points for Puljujärvi. And 17 points in 25 games for Dylan Holloway. So we'll give him the shot up there on that line, and we'll see what we can't do to get Mr. Devon Shore back in the lineup. See if he can't get it going here. Nope, we already have Dylan Holloway in the lineup. We want Devon Shore back in, substituting all lines, and flippity flop. Matthias Janmark back up. Matthias Janmark playing 735. He's a -3 and only has 6 games played, no points. That is killing me right there. We may indeed have to look at trading him as well. Tyler Benson up to those 10-point mark now. Like I said, if a bottom 6 forward on the Oilers has 10 points, you're happy. And look at that. The Oilers romp back. 6 goal wins in back-to-back games. We're 14-11, the best mark over 500 we have been all season. And you look at that, we're solidly in 4th place, chasing down the 2nd place Calgary Flames. Connor McDavid up to 42 points on the season in 29 games. Really leading the way out there as the captain. And you look at this here, 41 for Leon Draisaitl, 32 for Kane, 24 for Nuge, 21 for Hyman before he got injured. Yamamoto with 21. Puljujärvi with 19. Dylan Holloway up to 17. Broberg with 11. He is having himself a solid little season. 11 for Barry, 10 for Benson, 9 for Nurse, 9 for Ryan, 9 for Bouchard, 9 for McLeod. Kulak's at 6, Cece's at 5, Murray's at 3, Devin Shore's at 2 goals, and Matthias Janmark down at 6 games played, no points. Rough. And the goalies, well, Skinner rocking a .761 save percentage, 873 goals against average, whereas Jack Campbell up to 896, 326 GAA. Numbers are creeping up for Jack Campbell. We hopefully see that cross 900 and below 319 by the end of this December simulation, which should get us to the end of the year and hopefully into the 2023 calendar year, where it'll start actually seeing what this Oilers team is going to be. This Nashville sim, this one's a big one here. 4-3 loss. At least we scored 3 goals. That's a big get. 4-1. Okay, cursed it right there. And then the Anaheim Ducks, is this going to be, it looks like they just tallied up a win too. And all of a sudden we're on a 3-game losing streak, 4-game losing streak. And Ryan McLeod has been injured, so we'll replace the player there. Head coach replaces player. Or who do we have coming in for Ryan McLeod? Who would be coming in for Ryan McLeod? That's kind of scary, because I think that would be a defenseman there coming in for Ryan McLeod on the 4th line. If I'm being honest with you, I think it is. I think it's got to be Brett Kulak coming in, because we don't have anyone else available right now. Centers, everyone's in use. James Hamblin, never mind. I forgot I got James Hamblin in there. So James Hamblin will make his NHL debut right now, right here. So we got to hammer this, finish this sim. And there we go. James Hamblin will make his NHL debut versus the Vancouver Canucks, like he could have if he would have made the team out of training camp. Leon Draisaitl leading the way with 45 points in 34 games. And I just want to make sure Hamlin hasn't already played a game. Kind of get an update on everybody else at the same time. I don't need to shout it all out. Puljujärvi though, minus 18 all of a sudden. Wow, that line is struggling. We got to figure that out, and he has not. So all of a sudden the third and line is getting shelled out there. So we're going to have to figure out maybe moving around that third line a little bit to give us a bit more of a dynamic edge. I don't know. Is Puljujärvi not the spreadsheet god that he is in real life? That could be an issue. Is Dylan Holloway up there? Matthias Janmark there. We're going to go Dylan Holloway down here and get Jesper Puljujärvi into the top 6. I frankly don't know. Jesper Puljujärvi to the 4th line maybe? Tyler Benson up in the top 6. Keep Dylan Holloway up there. Tyler Benson with Derek Ryan and Matthias Janmark, and suddenly we look about as well off as we used to. This team ravaged by injuries. Now you only have 2 players over 80 in your bottom 6. James Hamlin though makes his NHL debut, and you know what? Screw it. Screw it. We don't seem to be having much success with Matthias Janmark on the 3rd line, so we're going to give James Hamlin the opportunity up there on that 2nd line with Nuge and Kane, right? Holloway's only got 18 points. He was having a pretty solid season before that, and now all of a sudden is creeping down in points. So we'll see what we can't get going here in this one. So hopefully Oilers come out of it victors. We're going to start Jack Campbell in this sim, I promise you. I promise you that. Against the Vancouver Canucks, who like us are 1 game over 500. Despite us technically having quite a few more games, well, 1 or 2 more games played than them. All right, here we go. Controller down. 1-0 for the Vancouver Canucks on a shorthanded goal before Connor McDavid ties it up 1 apiece, and then Leon Draisaitl gives us the 2-1 lead. The power play is clicking big time. Connor, Leon, Connor, back-to-back-to-back power play goals, and we lead 3-1 right out of the gate. You like to see that. Jack Campbell's not having a bad start to this period, I guess you couldn't argue. And it's looking all right here after 1 period of play. Draisaitl, Connor, and Connor. James Hamlin scores in his NHL debut, baby. No way. That's why I put him where I put him, and he got the job done. I cannot believe that. Let's go. Let's go. That's exactly the intended result I was looking for. And James Hamlin scores in his NHL debut. You like to see it. Derek Ryan as well scoring. And it's 5-1 Edmonton after 2 periods of play. James Hamlin scores in his debut. That was the whole plan coming in. If I got the chance, I was going to give James Hamlin the chance to be making his NHL debut this episode. 6-1 for the Oilers. Leon Draisaitl scores the goal. And look at this. All of a sudden, the Oilers come ramping out. Draisaitl with a big-time performance. Same with Connor. And James Hamlin, Jimmy the Hammer, takes home his first NHL goal in his first NHL game. Hey, I'm here for the good moments in the video games, too. So Edmonton stats, look at this. Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid, 3 points apiece. Tyson Barrie, how about that? 2 points. And then you've got Ryan Murray, Dylan Holloway, James Hamblin, and Derek Ryan, Kailer Yamamoto, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, all with a couple of points, well, a point apiece. And you really like to see those guys go to work out there. Yes, Puljujarvi, minimal impact in 8 minutes of play. And he is the man that played the absolute least in this game. So you'll see Tyson Barrie played 28 minutes. Wow, the Oilers had a lot of power play time. Darnell Nurse playing 24. And look at Jack Campbell starring in this one. 969 save percentage. You like to see it. That's a huge get for our Edmonton Oilers right there. James Hamblin scores in his NHL debut. And now all that we've got left is to get through the last 3 games of 2022 as we look to close it out against the Flames, the Kraken, and the Winnipeg Jets. But first, it is Christmas time, and you see this is a mess of a trade here, but you can dump 2 players for 2 picks and only give up a 7th. I really ain't doing that because, again, we can't afford to be giving up Mattias Janmark. We need him in the lineup. Despite him doing nothing, he's a legible body in that lineup. I think Klim Kostin could come in, but I'm trying to save him for a little bit, and we'll try and work on a Mattias Janmark trade next episode. Multiple players on the Oilers are ready to dress again. So that is where we're just going to go one more game, make sure they're not getting injured up, and then we'll get it going. And look at this development. Look at this development. Tyler Benson up to a 78 overall on the year. You like to see that. That's a good get for the Oilers. Dylan Holloway, 10 goals, 9 assists. And how about this? James Hamblin, 2 goals, 2 games. The Hammer scoring unstoppable to start his NHL career. If that's the only 2 games the man ever gets in his NHL career, don't mind me. And we're not going to really care about the lines here. Dylan Holloway's out. We might as well just best lines it here for the last couple games of the simulation, as we only have the Kraken and Jets to go. We end up, what did we do there? I don't know what we did. Best lines, as Zach Hyman is now healed. And we're going to get into this game against the Kraken. A 5-4 OT loss and a 6-5 loss to the Jets. So again, mediocrity striking in Edmonton. But it's Leon Draisaitl with 51 points on the season so far. And wow, this team, they can pile up the points, but they can't pile up the wins. Connor McDavid, 50 points. Kane, Nuge with 30 plus. Yamamoto with 25. Got Hyman with 21 and 28. Holloway with 20 and 33. Puljujarvi with 20 and 38. Barrie with 19. Broberg now with 13 points. Still only a 76 overall. Derek Ryan up there with 12. Nurse, Benson, Bouchard, McLeod, Ceci, Kulak's up to 7, so Ceci's picked it up. 6 points for Ryan Murray, 4 points for Devon Shore, and now you've got 3 points for Mattias Janmark and James Hamblin, who gets it done with 2 goals in 3 games played. You like to see it in this goaltending situation we got going on here. Jack Campbell, 896. 322 goals against average. So the goals against average for Campbell are going down. And I mean, who knows? We could have had a bunch more wins had it not been for Mr. Stuart Skinner choking away a couple of them. I just quickly, before we head out of here at the 30-minute mark, I want to show you quick the progress reports for this team and who's developing down there on the farm. And I believe it may be time to swap Janmark, risk him getting claimed on waivers to get Klim Kostin up here and free up some more cap space. So you see the attributes modified. Tyler Benson's 12. Puljujarvi's got 7 on the season modified so far. Yamamoto, same thing. Holloway, 7. Stuart Skinner is up to an 80 overall now. Hey, hey. We've got 280 overall goaltenders in the NHL. And Philip Broberg has his offensive awareness up to an 82 and his defensive awareness up to an 85. In the AHL, though, what's going on down there? Bourgault's got 10. Rodriguez up to a 73. Matvei Petrov's up to a 67. Marcus Niemelainen's up to a 76. You've got Reed Schaefer, Tyler Tullio, and Michael Kesselring all developing. And, of course, Philip Kemp developing a little bit as well there. So, yeah, as expected so far for this crop of Oilers rookies. Folks, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. Thank you so much for tuning in to tonight's edition of the Edmonton Oilers Franchise Mode. I am up on out of here.